Hey guys, I have NerdM248 here. Welcome back for more JoshCCLP4. We're getting into the JoshL6 stuff, which is going to be a little all over the place in terms of its difficulty. This is part 30, a large number, and I'm just going to start playing Citadark Isle. So it looks like the gimmick here is I'm going to be trading keys for more keys for chips. So, find out where we get I can move this block, and I get a key. So, I still have one key. I'm going to need to remember exactly how many keys I have, and when possible, trade for more. So now I've got 2. Now I've got 3. And, now I've got 2. Now I've got 1. But now I've got 3 again. I don't even remember how many I have now. So much for remembering carefully. I'm just going to run around and make sure I have as many keys as I can before going for any chips. And I'm going to try and do stuff in minimal keys when possible. It's like, I could travel through here, trading 1 for 1, 1 for 1, 1 for 1. But I'm never going to do more than that. This is an interesting puzzle. Okay, so I can get this chip at the cost of 1. I can spend 2 for 2, which I'll do, because that seems like a worthy trade. And it looks like it takes 2 to reach this one, and then there's just the one chip back up at the top left area, which I believe requires 2. Ah, it does! I was 1 short.
Bummer.
One shy. So yeah, let's see if we can't figure this out. I need to unwind anyway. I think part of my issue was what I did at the very beginning. And yeah, part of why I need to unwind is stuff's been a little stressful lately. I'm not going to go into too much detail why. It's not worth doing so, and I can handle that part smarter. It's not really my details to go into. But just a bunch of random stuff going on, and I don't know. It's rough. It's a little rough, but nothing that can't be dealt with. And just, I don't know, solving puzzles is always something relaxing for me. Anybody who has me on Steam will know that I've been playing a lot of Everyday Genius Square Logic lately, and I've logged so many hours on that game lately. It's kind of obscene almost. See how many keys I have. So I have 2 keys still. But yeah, I've got up to like 60 hours, and a lot of that's been the past not too long ago, just because I have needed the breather. It's something that I can do that doesn't take much focus, and it's very relaxing for me. So yeah, it's worth doing, even if it seems a little weird. So this is Flooded Forest, which I've said what I think about blue walls and deadly obstacles. This seems to be a little nicer than most levels are about it. But the fact that you can get a green key and then lose a green key, and then not lose the green key, does worry me a little bit. I don't think Josh would be mean with that, and especially not with early Josh L6. Oh, that would be real. Yes, it's like I don't think I can do anything at this point. Okay, change of plans. See, obtain the green key before going farther into this flooded forest. Okay, that's what I get for not reading the hint and just wanting to start playing. Like that's entirely my fault. So what can I do with this block here? I can push it up and then I can push it left, but I don't think that's useful. Useful to me at this moment. Once I figure out how to get the green key, it should be. So yeah, how do we get the green key? Oh, I think I see it. You got me good. I did not see that. I was not expecting.
Bummer.
I'm not happy with that. Okay, like that is the big issue I have with blue walls and deadly obstacles, and I knew that was real from the first play. I still do not like that happens. Because you have to take it very, very slow. Every single move needs to be measured out, and you need to see what it does. And it's a little annoying to play. But that's what I'm playing, so let's go. Okay, so now I see the purpose of this block. So let me go through here. Oh, really? Okay, so I was expecting a longer Do I Ride section with maybe blue walls at the end. Very glad that's not what it was. I want more puzzly levels. I don't want a blue wall maze type level right now. Not that it's badly designed or anything of the sort. It's just not what I feel like playing at the moment. And I know that keeps coming up with this set. Like lately, it's been a lot of stuff that, oh, this is well designed. It's just not what I want to play right now. I guess that is the hazard of doing a long set like this entirely in order. There's a tremendous amount of variety, and at the same time, there's also just no real resemblance of order to it. So it comes piecemeal, and it's a little bit. I don't know what's the word. What the words I'm looking for here are. Almost limiting with the format I'm doing this in. Just because I basically do have, like, I feel obligated to complete one level before moving on to the next. And so when I get to one that's really kind of a little annoying, I can't think of a good example right now, but there definitely were some. Like, I felt obligated to finish it before moving on. And I think that's coming into play again here, which is good when it's, like, for levels that are just of a type I wouldn't normally go out of my way to play, like this one. Because it is more fun than I was expecting it was going to be. What do I do here? Oh, do I really want to pull MS shenanigans? Not really. Okay, so what I was thinking there was step here, override down, override, and then go in here. But then I don't think I can go back. So I'm going to assume that what needs to be done is... I meant to push right. That was entirely my fault. Would have happened regardless of like what type of level this was. Doesn't mean I'm happy about it. But at least, like... I'm gonna just keep... I pushed down and nothing happened! But at least it's like... When these sorts of things happen, it's... At least, like, to me, at least it is my fault. Really? Oh, wait, no, I can just go back that way. I didn't see that for a sec. I thought it was a trap. Very glad that was not actually a trap. Oh boy, this part is actually pretty cool. It looks a lot more difficult than it actually is. And that would have been everything had I played smart before. I don't want to push that block just in case, but I may have to. Yeah, let's go down here and get this one first. Then we can head back this way. It's really weird. It's like, I know I'm the only one playing, but I'm still saying we.
Bummer.
Okay. Okay. My opinion of this level just dropped further. And I know it's because I'm being stupid, but a lot of it is because, like, I don't think blue walls and a lot of deadly obstacles like this mix. I really don't. And yet here they are mixing together a lot. And it's just not very fun for me. I think if I do die again, I am just going to pull out a map just in the interest of moving things along. Because at this point, I've basically done the level twice. It's like, even when I know it's real, I can't get it. Like, just in the interest of moving things along. I do feel a little bad for mentioning, like, that I do have a lot of stress and stuff going on, and then this kind of thing happens, and then I say I can't really go into why. But trust me, like, if I could go into why, and if it was mine to go into, I probably would here. But it's not my place to say. And yeah, I don't think anyone would really mind too much. Why did I do that? I just wanted to be fancy, I guess. There I go again. But just moving without thinking. But yeah, it's like, if I felt like it was my place to say, I'd say something, just with more details, just so I don't leave everybody hanging here. Because I know that is a little almost ominous to say, but there's a lot of uncertainty with what I'm going to be doing in the future. Not so much with, like, internet stuff, but just graduated, what do I do? I mean, I haven't even gone to graduation yet. Okay, keyboard malfunction, been looking forward to this. Yeah, it's like, what do I do? And then just other stuff going on in my life that I don't really have any control over, and I'm just observing and doing what I can. It's not much. And there's a lot of stress as a result of all of that together. I wouldn't say I'm a control freak, but at the same time, I do like having some influence, because then it's like, if I'm stuck relying on other people, past experiences have shown other people are not generally the most reliable, and I know that's a horrible generalization to make, but at the same time, it's like, I've been screwed over on group projects so many times. Yeah, just so I can get one more yellow key and keep going if I don't have enough. Yep, I did not have enough. I don't know how many more I'm going to need, but I could go count. But at the same time, I'm not counting how many yellow keys I have picked up. So it's like, I know it's really unfair to a lot of people in general to say that I find people unreliable. And I know that's not fair to the, like, at all. Wow, this place has a lot of yellows. Like, I know that's not fair at all to some people who have proven themselves quite capable, but at the same time, it's like, there's always for me that nagging worry that, like, something's going to go wrong and I can't do anything about it. And I just have to sit back and I have to wait. And I'm not very good at doing that, admittedly. And now I can snail across, and keyboard malfunction complete. Moving on to Lake Laogai. It's like, I feel like I'm talking myself into a corner here, just a little bit. It's really weird. And honestly, something else that's a little strange is that I'm trying to talk about things that are on my mind. They're on my mind, but they're not really stuff I can go into details on, partly because I'm still working through the details in my head, so... I mean, it gets a little confusing at points. Just with what I'm trying to say, it's like, I know what I'm saying. I know what I'm trying to say. I don't know if I'm actually saying it. Does it make any sense at all, or am I just talking crazy right now? No, don't get that. Don't get that. So yeah, short version is, what do I do with my life? Vacation coming up that I don't really want to go on, but I'm stuck going on. And assorted other reasons that I don't really control. Not the biggest fan of this section. That's pretty cool, though. Yeah, this is just a lake with a pretty nice aesthetic, and in general, really nice item swapping on these short paths. It works very well. So I don't know where the teleport leads, and I want to explore this other path first. I just cooked the level. Because if I left the lock there, I could partial post. Oops. Well, I'll make sure to not do that this time. As I do something even dumber. And I wasn't even screwed there, I just realized. I still think it might have been faster to restart than to actually do it right. Like, than to loop back around and save it. Which is really funny to me, that sometimes it is faster to just restart to recover a mistake. What was I saying? I don't even remember what I was saying, but... Can't be... No, I almost got the blue key again, but I didn't. But it really can't be that important if I can't remember it, right? And it's interesting, like, I was recording it, so I could always go back and check the recording to see what I was talking about, if it was important, and just finish my line of thought later. It's like, there's always options. So yeah, let's get the boot stolen, hopefully nail the override again. I do not like that this is a one-step override. Like, I know I've gotten it twice, but I'm pretty good at getting those sorts of things. Like, I've had to go... Like, I've been forced to get those during optimized runs, like, where you really don't have time to do any holding. You have to get off at a specific point. And it's pretty tough to do that reliably. As you saw back with flooded, no, not flooded forest, suction shoe forest, it's quite easy to screw it up. So yeah, let's actually do this right this time. Now we've got all the chips. Whoa. What changes with all the chips? Not much. Oh, nice. The red key, then you go across here. And Lake Laogai complete. Moving on to Asphalt Line, which I have played. Hint says all chips are required. I have played this because it was a Walls of CCLP2 create entry. And this uses the walls from Block Slide. Speaking of Block Slide, that bold was ridiculous to get when I got it. What, like a month ago? 2 months ago? I'm getting really bad at remembering times of things. And Block Slide, like as I said, absolutely ridiculous bold route. Like, I don't know how that was even found. And then executing that was just such a nightmare. Especially when I knew what I was doing and I just would mess up like the very end repeatedly. But I got consistent at a lot of the level just by drilling it into muscle memory, so it still took a couple hours of grinding, but I've had worse. Okay, so the exit's there. If I remember right, based on the structure of Block Slide, there is a loop, but if not, I'm making sure to leave a path back. And this could be deemed a little mean without the knowledge of Block Slide's layout, but the recessed walls are fairly lenient. So False Cavern was another level you made for the Walls of CCLP2 create. This uses a switch hit, and you just have to find your way through the teleports until you find all 3 keys. And you pretty much just explore. So I know I'm going to need to teleport up. So I'm just going to keep trying to find like the highest teleports I can reach to teleport up. And if we come over here, we can see I need to enter that teleport up. So if I can get into the bottom right room, which I should be able to do like that. So now I just have to find my way back up to the starting area. Which was a lot easier than I expected. So that is False Cavern complete. So Membrane is exactly what it looks like. It's a maze. It's a really, really awesome looking maze. And I'm just going to do the typical maze approach from now on, just following one wall. Just in the interest of getting through it. Not that it's a bad level, I just don't want to get lost in a maze right now. Let's see, what else to do? Oh, right. So Chuck's Challenge recently updated with the feather achievements for completing every level without an undo. So interestingly, I'd already done this while getting decent times, especially on the first 5 areas, but I did all that before the feathers were added. So because I actually somewhat care about my Steam achievement stats, I had to go back through and beat every level again. In this case, there's a loop. I'm going to take that one now. So I went through and I beat every level again. It took a little over 2 hours, including Flummery, which took up the bulk of that time because I was a lot less familiar with those levels. And it was an interesting experience replaying that after after CC2, because you can see that there's a lot of not just CCLP inspiration in those levels, but a lot of CC2 inspiration there too, especially with Flummery, because you could see caverns. is so structurally similar to Caverns from CC2, just among other things. And uh, if Joshua Bone is watching this, one, hello, two, why? Then, like, Caverns from uh, both of those levels are so similar, but there's so many. The Truck's Challenge version doesn't correct the overall rigidity of the CC2 version with how small the timing windows are for some of the dodges, and there's just a lot of waiting in that version. But then you go and compare to some CC1 levels. Not really many. It's like I can't think of any CC1 levels that actually have a long forced wait while you wait for monsters to go by, other than Kablam, which is really a forced wait for a different reason. So it's a little interesting that even with the more modern designs, Chuck's Challenge still ended up making some of the same mistakes that had already been um, well, out-designed, just because it drew a lot of inspiration from CC2 and the CCLPs. You can see that quite well with there's a key color ripoff. I remember that much. Like with just the first area of key color, down to holding down buttons in order to be able to move a block through, and you just keep going. So the key color ripoff. There's an overseas delivery copy, except again simpler. It's like a lot of the concepts got toned down for Chuck's Challenge. So next up is Zabriskie Point, which is another maze. I'm going to try to be careful and not die, but this is very difficult to read. Just because you can step on gravel next to bugs, but not dirt next to bugs. You can also step on fire next to bugs, which makes dead ends pretty unclear. So I'm going to try to, again, be systematic, but it might take me a few tries to get this. Because, like, this looks like a dead end at first, but it's not. I'm not a huge fan of this level. It's well done, and aesthetically it looks really nice, but it's a little tedious to play. It's like, see, I can't go this way, but it's not immediately clear. And yes, before you go any farther, I know I've made levels with a similar concept. Specifically, like Ultimate Chip 4's Random Battle comes to mind here. Like, that took this general concept and added it to a blue wall maze. And I know a lot of the things I've said about blue walls and deadly obstacles and then these sorts of monsters on things all apply to Random Battle. Complete with a little bit of walker randomness as well, but I never said I haven't fallen victim to the same things. And Random Battle, testing that is one of the reasons I decided that it wasn't such a good idea to keep on that general strategy. Because even though it was a good maze and it succeeded on that front, it wasn't a very fun level. And that's something else I was going to talk about. Like, there's fun levels, and then there's fun puzzles, and then there's fun levels to replay. And not only is, like, fun for Chips Challenge already so flexible just with what it means, because levels can have so many different goals with just the limited tiles available. There's so much you can do with them that there's just different kinds of levels that are fun to play, mazes, melees, puzzles. Like, there's so many things that you really can't use one metric when comparing them a lot of the time. And yet, especially with, say, CCLP voting, you kind of have to, because it's not 100% reasonable to oh, nice, I even ended up near the socket. But, like, it's not 100% reasonable to expect people to go and rank a level by fun, by difficulty, like by solving difficulty, by execution difficulty, like rank it by like as a level, and then as, say, as a Sakuban or as a maze or as a variety or a campaign. Or it's not reasonable to expect all that sort of distinctions. And I do know that themeless is kind of difficult, so I'm going to leave that for the next video and just I guess, end this one on the design, voting, whatever tangent. Just because the game is on its own is still flexible, and that's why I'm still playing it so many years after starting to play it. And then after a couple of years of heavy, heavy play, I'm still interested. I'm still playing. Um, there's not a lot of games I can say that for. And then just it's not reasonable to expect that much voting or that much to be done by everyone because not everybody is as heavily interested or goes as quite as far as I would do. So it'll be interesting to see how the voting is handled. I'm definitely, and especially compiling the final set from voting results. Definitely going to be interesting trying to compare between like taco bands and varieties, and we'll probably the staff will probably handle the dividing up of results on our own. Anyway, I've gone and rambled on about stuff for over a minute now, so I'm just going to hit stop recording, get some water, and hit start recording to try to solve Themeless. So, yes, see you then.